Alright, so I've got the bases off of both the Gen 2.5 and the Gen 2 front driver seats. What I was hoping to do would be to take all of the leather from my Gen 2.5 and be able to put it on the frame over here for the Gen 2. This is what bolts directly to the Bouncy seat frame. However, the undersides of these are totally different, and I don't think that it's going to transition over. Just the leather's not there, it's not in the right places. You can see kind of from this angle, the Gen 2 seat is actually much taller. There's much more leather on the sides here on the Gen 2 than on the Gen 2.5, Gen 2.5. Passenger seat worked out real well, but they were both manual seats, so it makes sense that the underpinnings were much more similar. Not so with the power seats. One of the things that's interesting about the power seat is that it bolts down right there in the front, so you can undo those two bolts relatively easily. Those bolts are accessible without removing the seat. Then there's these hooks at the bottom. That's what holds the back of the seat in. That'll allow you to just pull the seat out, and then you can, have access, basically have access to the brains underneath the seat in case there's something you need to surface. It's kind of a nice design. That way, if there's something underneath that needs to be serviced, you don't have to unbolt the entire seat. You can actually just unbolt these two bolts in the front, one there and one right there. You can just unbolt those, pull the seat bottom off, and service the unit and put it all back together. So here's a photo of the side of the power seat on the driver's side. This is where most of the motors are. These are the motors that would cause the seat to probably slide forward, slide backward, as well as the seat base to tilt forward and back and raise the height and all those choices. The other photo is just the manual seat and what's behind that piece of trim on the side. Again, this is the driver's seat manual. Pretty simple, not a whole lot going on. The other thing that was interesting about the Gen 2.5 power seat is that this is what you sit on. The cushion goes right on this. So, interestingly enough, in the 2.5 and in the manual, in the Gen 2.0 and in the manual 2.5 seat, you actually sit on this. So you actually get much more spring out of the manual seats than you do the power seat, because the power seat is just a pan that the foam sits in. So it's not quite as comfortable. Probably leads to the foam getting crushed down more than in these other ones, because it's got a little bit of spring to it. So if nothing else, the seat will probably be a little more comfortable, have a little more spring, not even taking into account the bouncy seat. Here's the seat base. Here's what the heated seat looks like. I didn't put this in because to put this in, I would have had to have done all those little clips. The same thing that holds the back of the seat on holds this in. So I'd have had to have undone all of those, fished the heated seat base in, and then done the clips back up. And it's a little more tricky because there's a little more rigidity to these things, and it's just harder to get in there and operate. If I do find the right color seat bottom, I'll go ahead and I'll do the work to move it over. I ended up using the wrong color seat base in my car, and then I just swapped out the backs. The swap isn't too difficult to do. There are these little rings that you just have to separate. Kind of come in on one. Let's see. You have to separate the ring right there, and it goes around these springs behind the seat. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 that you have to undo. And then this basically slides right off. You gotta watch out for the armrest. This is the driver's seat, so the armrest is on that side. Passenger seat armrest is on the other. Take a look at what the final installed version looks like. So there it is. It came out pretty good. The bouncy seat install, I'll have to dial in where I want it to. I did a quick test drive, and kind of going over speed bumps was a lot of fun, because so I do need to find a manual seat base in my color, and find these little trim pieces right here as well. But those will all come apart pretty nicely. Interestingly enough, all these little covers fit these are from my 2.5. They fit right on this Bouncy seat frame. There we go. So these little covers just fit right on. So it's the same mounting. Yeah. Well, overall, it was I think I'm glad that I did it. It took a long time. I don't know how long. I'm going to say probably 8 hours, but I had no clue what I was doing.